Hey everyone, and welcome to a quick guest flow and guest population test in Planet Coaster 2. This park over here is already quite developed, and so it has enough attractions and coasters and rides so that we can reach the 12,000 guests relatively easily. So this is going to happen in the video. I'm going to talk you through what I experienced doing that, and you're going to see the kind of performance at the end, and also obviously the evidence that we reached the full 12,000 guests in here. But before we do so, here's a little reminder of Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is the sponsor of the channel, so you can always get very great games for a great value via the link that you find in my description or on the channel page. They have a wonderful customer support, and also all the codes are very reliable. You always will save money, and you can't only get games, you can also get DLC codes or even money that you can use in PlayStation Network or Xbox Live or however that thing is called right now. So make sure to check out the link in my description or on the channel page and get yourself whatever you want. You do support me directly by doing so, and that is kind of cool, and you also save money. Anyways, back to the video. This is a test that I've been doing while chilling here and doing a little bit of a cleanup in my room. So I'm gonna talk you through what I was also monitoring on my computer. I also had a performance test running to see some, FPS high, FPS low, whatever. It was super constant, to be honest, and you'll see that it's only sped up by about 1.8 times so that the video isn't too long. So it took about 15 minutes actually in total until the 12,000 guests were reached, and you can see them all streaming in. About 6 minutes into the video, I'm going to change the camera position a little so you can see the overall guest flow a little. I did do this on my own beforehand. I did delete the footage, which is super stupid of mine, which I'm also sorry for, but I just couldn't revert to the old system or old version. I should have done, but instead I'm going to talk you through. So the cool bit is that the overall guest flow is just tremendously better. For me personally, I've read all your comments, and so many comments of you saying that you have more problems than before with people getting stuck and so on. I really can't say the same. Honestly, I would, and you know that from my channel, I have been very vocal about all the problems, and I will be vocal, and one of the problems you see on screen, it's the freaking weather still, which is not real rain or whatever. I never would say anything that isn't true just for the sake of, I don't know, making something look good or so. There's no point in doing so. I just feel like that the problems in Planet games just in general are very individual. I remember me and the lady at the beginning of Planet Zoo, both of us had like a lot of problems, but none of these problems were the same. Like, lady had all the problems that I didn't have, and the same way the other way around, which was very hard for Frontier to fix it then. I think the same applies to this game. But I can only say that for me personally, this update has been rock solid, honestly. And also the guest flow is such a massive improvement for my personal game experience. There are a couple of things I can do to fix it, and I will show this to you at the end. We are going to go in-game, not in the game with the full 12,000. We are going to go in a little bit of an autosave, and I'm going to show you what exactly is happening and how I could fix a couple of things. But to be honest, these things are not down to the game's weak pathfinding or so. They have to do with positioning of the spawners and so on. But the overall guest flow, and this is by the way where we change the camera position. The stutter, by the way, is just because of my weird camera movement, in case you were wondering. But on this position, you can see a lot better how they perform and how they go across the various roads over here. I mean, sure, you do still see a major line, so to say, where the most people go and where the biggest groups go. But in all honesty, that is kind of realistic anyways. Like, the most people would go a central line. But you can see that they're avoiding each other a lot better. And even in these more narrow pathways, you can see to the right side, crossing through where we have the Helter Skelter and some of those shops. The overall behavior is very good, and I used to have a lot of congestion in this area beforehand, and if I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, basically this area, there was almost no concrete visible anymore because it just has always been super crazy. And what I also like specifically is, if I may get your view towards the carousel kind of thing, the swinging carousel, which just started getting up right now, there is that little bit of area next to the queue line that is underneath the big oak tree where no one is. And And I like the fact that this happens because there is virtually no reason for them to go there. There's no bench, only the exit. And there you can see the exit just happening. And I love the fact that this works because this is how real theme parks also operate. You always have these kind of exit areas that specifically are designed to not be interesting to any persons that would go there and spend some time, because you don't want to have any congestions when people leave a certain area. And beforehand, some people, for whatever odd reasons, were going there, and that was always a very odd situation to see. And now you only have people very randomly and rarely going there, maybe to find a spot to throw their garbage away anyways. But yeah, so you can see the park is filling up nicely. I think at this point we are already about 8,000 people into the park, and you can see that the main road is getting more busy and busy. But we have, if you check out the bridge to the left hand side, you have a very continuous stream of people going to, like, crossing out of the frame on the right and left hand side of the bridge, and the other people kind of going through the middle, and you basically do not see any problematic congestion or bumping or glitching, which is a major improvement. I tell you, beforehand, that freaking bridge is like, I don't know, it's like 12 meters wide or so. And here you can see even how's it thing called? An entertainer performing, and then you've seen how everyone is just kind of roaming around while some people keep standing there. I also love to see that because this just kind of created that dynamic guest flow happening. And if we think of parades or something in the future, that is also a behavior that must be in and must function, because otherwise that wouldn't look great. You can see the same with King Coaster right now, where he has been going down there. So back to the bridge. That bridge is like 12 meters wide, and beforehand that was a horrible situation, because everyone was just going for the middle stream and like slightly tilted to the left, because like they entered very much the right hand side to have the shortest path possible to get over the bridge and into the coaster, because the coaster is leaned towards the left hand side when you leave the bridge. So everyone was going like that, like light tilt over, and the same happened for people coming back. So that was really odd. And I noticed also a couple of other things which I loved. If you know, I'm just gonna try to show you where I'm talking about. So if you go to the top right of the screen, where we have our top spin and we have our drop tower, this region in general isn't as popular at this point in time. But equally, this region has relatively big queues for what the rides are designed for. So you don't really have that many people roaming around there anyways, because it is already a destination. It's not like a traverse area. It is already a destination. There is no reason to go even further to the back or so, because there are no shops or no further rides. And the same happens with the area we built last time. But then you also have the big hypercoaster to the very top of our screen. And obviously the hypercoaster is very popular, but the queue is super long. And I may say that this is the first time I did a test like that, and I really do hope Frontier is going to up the limit even further for the guest, because performance-wise, you'll see that it's no big deal. My computer still handles that pretty well, and even though my CPU is kind of good, that my graphics card is about to die. I have some serious issues with it at the moment, but I'm not willing to get a new one at this point, because I'm just not willing to pay that ridiculously much money for a graphics card right now. The market is completely broken at the moment for graphics cards, so I'm waiting and I'm trying to get a good one. Or maybe if a sponsor is listening to the video, please contact me. Now, I'm just seriously, that they, like, if you want to, like, the RTX 5070 Ti would be very interesting. Same for the 5080, but like, they are so far away from their original price that I'm like not willing to pay, I don't know, 1.8x the price, or even 2x if you look somewhere else at the moment. Really not what I wanted to do. But back to the performance, it's so good that I would really love to see even more guests in here. I may say this park is a very good test, I guess, at the moment, because the size of the park for 12,000 guests is very realistic. It is a realistic size, because at the very end of the test, almost every queue was very nicely filled, and we still had a lot of crowds going on the main pathways, which also gives you an idea of how wide and open you need to build. And I also found people having actually some thoughts about that now. can't say if that was already a thing beforehand. I haven't really paid attention to it, but I find it very interesting that people now have thoughts about, hey, this park is very spacious and I can reach my targets very well. Not sure if I've seen that before. And if not, and they have added that, it's a very big win, I guess, because that also reflects on how good and how well you build your park. At the same time, we must say that obviously the theme and the idea of this park being in an old abandoned harbor area already comes intrinsically with a lot of space, because we have a lot of concrete and we have a lot of space, and I was trying my best already to get rid of this kind of feeling, but we still have huge slabs of concrete available to us, which then ends up being a huge park. But anyways, if you look at the layout itself, it's not that far away from typical theme park layouts anyways. And the good thing is, if you see how well this works and how well the guest flow in here is, you can definitely tell how important it becomes to build exactly this, to build a great park, a great looking park that really reflects what you are looking at and what you kind of need to build in order to have a good guest. We are in game, and I found a save, or an autosave, that has the 12,000 guest, or actually almost 12,000. But as you can tell, the performance is pretty damn impressive. I'm not sure if you can see the counter. Usually it should not display it, but Bandicam lately had some issues here, not getting rid of the counter. So maybe you do see it to the top left. If you don't see it, it's around 50 FPS right now. I must say it is with the FSR 3, which I have running at the moment, because that was quite a lot better than what was before. But to show you how good it is, we are going to jump onto a coaster, or maybe on that track over here. It doesn't really matter which one exactly we go. Oh wait, hold on. We are about to go down with this wonderful tilt coaster. So let's do that. Let's jump on board. Being very much tilt over here, we can have a little look how stable the FPS stay. And yeah, it's like the one big thing that was really bad with the previous Planet games, specifically with Planet Coaster 1, was how stable the FPS were on coasters, and even just building a couple little things made the FPS already go dramatically down, and specifically when you had that many guests in the park. So considering we've got 12,000 guests in the park, which I don't even know if I ever had that in Planet Coaster 1, maybe for some crazy tests in Quali Beach or so, but then that ended up always being a disaster. So just to show you the full, like this is like a test, okay? This is a performance and guest flow test, just to show you the guest flow from above. I really love it. I'm not sure what you say about that, but like I personally think it's so much better. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But I think it's so dramatically better than before. I remember we had that, like when we were watching how the guest went to this coaster, you know, there was the queue going in here. The guests always used that one road. They just went here and then went all the way down here, did a little zigzag, and then went straight up here to the left, made all the way here and then into the coaster. That was super, super awkward. Really don't know if that is ever a thing that you want to see. I don't know. But yeah, this obviously being very crowded. As I said during the video, the queues are almost all filled. As you can see, there's a queue completely filled. And if we go over here, I mean, this one is pretty long. It's not entirely filled, but also very nicely filled. And then you've got like this flat right over here is completely filled in. And then if we zoom over here, that one is pretty damn good filled. That one is so good, so well filled that they even start, I mean, it's a very short one anyways, but like they do in here. Then let's have a look. Our water area is also pretty crowded. So there's also a lot going on. And then if we go over here just to fly over, and you can see the performance is really good. This one is filled. That one is filled. That one is filled. I love it. This just gives you such a great vibe. This one is nicely filled and also has a couple more people standing. This is also not finished, by the way, in case you were wondering. Oh my god, what are you doing here? Okay, not sure what that is. They use a completely different guest flow. And then you can see finally with all the new starts, this is even not congesting anymore. That's so cool. There is a bit of a queue here for the slides, which is fine. You know, all good. all good. Okay, and now just to show you that this also works with without the FSR3, I'm gonna do a little cut here because the game crashed for me last time I tried to change it. So not to lose the recording, I'm gonna make a little cut. It actually did crash when I was changing this, but here you can see the massive difference when you go back to normal TAA. I'm just gonna show you that there is normal settings, and then I'm not gonna click anything, but you can see the anti-aliasing now is go back to TAA, and everything is set to the highest that is possible, also to 16x whatever, and you can see the performance is around 30-ish FPS, 25, 26, 20. But the good thing about this is, and I'm gonna go into the coaster, you can see it is still rather stable, which I am very positively surprised by. Again, my graphics card, it's not even that it's bad, it's also very old, and I have a lot of driver issues at the moment, so I'm not even blaming the game for all the crashes at the moment, because I have constant crashes during rendering, I've got constant crashes during graphic intense things I'm doing on my computer. I really do think my graphics card is about to die. But as you can see over here, we've got completely stable 25 to 28 FPS on this coaster, which is me having a lot of applications running at the moment, having 12,000 guests in the park. There's even rain, not sure if rain is actually doing anything about the performance, and I'm recording this obviously. So that is, I personally think this is absolutely ridiculously great. People are always moaning about the optimization on this game, and I mean, you see how many pieces and I use. Like, I know I'm building big parks and stuff like that, but how many people will end up with a park like this? Not really that many, okay? And how many people will end up spending so many pieces on just one ship that is in your background, which is obviously taking away some of the FPS as well because of all the pieces, being so super detailed that you can't even make a blueprint out of it. So I'm very sorry, by the way, people were still asking if I do blueprint. I have a huge issue blueprinting it. I can, but the way you need to stitch this together is just way too complicated. And also, that said, like, the interiors are also all built. Like, you know, it's not only that the outside is built, but you also have like fully fledged insides here, like with coasters, and even like, you know, fake areas like this where you have some all the things gold here, lockers, and oh, did the ride just break down? I think it did. So yeah, I'm very positively surprised about the performance, about the guest flow, about everything around this matter, and I'm very keen to see what Frontier is fixing as well, because being able to fix that, and also what I think is that they improved, it was in the changelog, and they said that they improved a lot of the LODs, and I personally think they did. It's not as aggressive anymore. Like, if we zoom on this oak tree, for example, and let me just disable the HUD, and we just zoom out, you can see the LOD is not, that was the autosave, by the way. The LOD is not as aggressive anymore, and specifically with like foliage, that was very visible to me, but they also fixed that to a very big degree, which I'm also very happy about, because it makes the whole experience playing the game from this angle obviously so much more enjoyable and so much more nice and clean. This is, I think, what I think. And now, looking at the game from above, we spoke about the graphics early on a lot, but I think now you can really tell the difference from this game towards Planet Coaster 1. It's just about it being so much more clean, so much more nice looking, so much more realistic looking, and obviously the performance speaks for itself. So much to say, but I am very happy with the outcome of this video, because I wasn't expecting it, and I'm very happy about this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. That was a little test. We will keep on doing these tests in the future, and yeah, just let me know what your experience is about the guest flow with this update, and also how you're experiencing the performance of this game. Thank you so much as always for your support. Again, don't forget to get a game on Instant Gaming. If you need something, use my link in the description. You can also just get a couple of Xbox money or whatnot, and then spend it when you need it. But yeah, so that's all I can say. Have a wonderful time. Thank you as always for the support, and I talk to you in the next one.